Singer-songwriter Kenny Lattimore will release his 7th studio album, Vulnerable, today in stores and online. Lattimore's tour stopped here in D.C. recently, and while he was in town, he stopped by NewsOne Now. His CD is in stores today. Here's what he had to say.
I'll admit that I was wrong. You deserve better, babe. No doubt that I was meant for you. All the time I spent with you, babe. Now don't need a thing, no. What is done, we can't get it back. We can fight and fight and fight. That'll ruin my mind. I pushed you away.
Push is my new single,
right?
And it's about guys like going through situations where they push somebody away.
Okay.
Because of sometimes fear, insecurity. Sometimes you need to push somebody away. But
that's true. That's no. Some folks should be kicked away.
Right. Absolutely.
That's right. Not pushed away, kicked away.
But you know, this particular song is like an apology to a woman that I have a real push story, and a lot of people do. I think almost everybody has a push story where, well, in mine, well, you don't have a push story. You have a push story.
There's some folk I just did not want in my life.
Okay, well, I had one where I was dating this young lady when I was living here in D.C. And I was going to New York to start my career, and I felt like, I don't know that you can go through the grind that I'm going to have to go through in order to make it in this industry and hold on to this relationship. So I pushed her away and apologized to her years later, like 15 years later.
So you didn't think she could go through it, but you didn't ask her.
I didn't even ask her.
And so you gave her no shot at even trying to it.
Yes, I had to go back to her and apologize and say and let her know that, you know, it was your moment, and I took that away from you. So I apologize.
She's still mad?
No, she's good. She's good. We all have gone on been married. I hope not.
You
mad?
Yeah, you know she was.
So, you know who you are.
You know she's a little swole.
Yeah, but you know it's a real situation I think that a lot of people go through, and a lot of times for their careers. You know, women do this, and you know, a lot of good guys get pushed away too. But
yeah, men and women do it.
Men and women do it. Yeah, I try to just use my musical platform to speak to the hearts of women and to the minds of men and encourage them in love. So
well, but see, I find it interesting because one of the things that I've always said is one of the biggest mistakes I think people make is that they don't look at someone. They look at someone to say, okay, this is where you are now.
Yes.
Versus what you can grow into.
Absolutely. And that whole process is what's precious and what actually matures the relationship. And if you don't allow anybody to go through it, you never get to that great end.
Now, the CD is called Vulnerable.
Vulnerable, yes.
Okay. I mean, obviously, that's a little different. So you know, why that name?
You know, I think it's a combination of things for me. I think in my life right now, I'm in a state of vulnerability. I'm working from a business standpoint with a brand new company called Liger Enterprises. It's fantastic. Frank Thomas, we call him the Big Hurt if you follow baseball, is one of our
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Hall of Famer. And so this is new. That's a vulnerable situation for me as opposed to the big major labels. But at the same time in my life, I am getting kind of open to the dating thing again and trying to go through that cycle where I don't push the next lady away, you know, even in this level of my career and this particular time in my life as I go forward.
But why? I'm trying to understand though, but why is that hard versus just letting something just happen?
Hollywood is a beast. And there's a lot of different twists and turns, I think, that are just unnatural in Hollywood. And I think even though I still look back and I go, my ex may have been able to handle the transition and everything. There's so much that goes on that is just unnatural and so intrusive.
All right, so you also touring around the country?
Touring around the country. You can go to KennyLattimore.com and see all of my tour dates because they change, so I don't ever want to just be like, yes, I'm going here and here. It changes frequently, and we make a lot of additions. I have a newsletter, things there, so that if people are interested in being those super fans where I can, you know, communicate with them and let them know this is what's happening next or before the rest of the world knows, check out KennyLattimore.com.
You mentioned the new label being independent, and it's interesting. I've probably had now at least a dozen or more artists who've come on and said the exact same thing. And what's interesting is that more artists are embracing this notion of what I call Me Inc. That it's no longer just, well, it's the labels that, wait a minute, I can be in total control of my destiny.
Absolutely.
My fan base, my social media, my own stuff. Granted, it's a lot more work. You sort of reminds me of going to be old school in terms of having the CDs in the back of the trunk.
Yeah.
But it's being in control of your own destiny.
And particularly like in this season where I think that people like Frank Thomas realize that instead of investing in something that's totally brand new, when you're starting a company like his, being vulnerable as well, you can go to an established artist. There are lots of established artists that have the brand already. Yes, exactly. That's identifiable, that you know that you're building on. And you can still always go back, because we always want to know who the next artist is, and we want to nurture and things like, well, I do at least. I'm more of a mentor kind of person. But I think that they found that that formula definitely works better. And putting your hands into it makes you appreciate all sides.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no. That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV One.